21 minutes to 7. Good morning. Breakfast with John and Matt this morning. And East Kent Council's backed down over plans to make shoppers pay for parking after pressure from campaigners. Shepway Council had drawn up options which included pay and display in the shopping streets of Folkestone, Hythe, Sandgate and New Romney. After a local referendum and thousands of signatures opposing the move, the council's now withdrawn the option. Campaigners are still worried about what hasn't been said about parking and permits on other roads in the area. Graham Cook reports.
Drive into Folkestone and, as with most towns these days, you're welcomed by pay and display car parks. There's a number of them, but if you know what you're doing, there are streets where you can park for an hour for nothing. Shopkeepers here feel that if that were to be taken away, a lot of their trade would be lost, and they made their feelings clear. Martin Jackson runs Landau, a fashion retailer in town, and has been campaigning vigorously against a proposal by Shepway Council to start charging.
I've done little else since Christmas, to be honest with you, and I do have a business to run, but from my point of view, I've been in business for 35 years in Folkestone, and this decision is the most profound decision that this town will make, or has made in the recent past, or indeed the recent future. The future of Folkestone is about attracting consumers to the town, and this policy does not attract consumers to the town.
Nor to other towns in the Shepway area. Pay and display was also proposed for Hythe, Sandgate and New Romney. Inevitably, it became a bit of a political hot potato. Peter Wallace is secretary of the Folkestone and Hythe Labour Party.
We organised 3 referendums back in December that had almost 4,000 people coming out to vote, and 95.6% of the people then said that they don't want these parking meters installed and they don't want the residential parking permits.
Shepway Council said it was consulting and listening, and it would announce its findings on April the 19th. So it was some surprise when the Conservative Council leader, Robert Bliss, suddenly said this.
We have decided to keep the present free parking system in Tontin Street, Sandgate Road in Folkestone, the high streets of Sandgate, Hythe and New Romney. Basically, they are the main shopping centres, and we've made this decision ahead of the final decisions on the consultation.
What remains to be decided?
Well, the full parking strategy still stands, and in that it includes all the residential areas.
Some of which, of course, are close to shopping areas. Campaigners are pleased with the concession they appear to have won, but they're still not happy.
John Barber, Folkestone Town Centre Manager. Obviously, we're delighted that the council showed that they were listening to what the businesses in the community felt strongly about. It is a partial victory because only certain roads were mentioned, and be interesting to see whether they put in the whole package that Bouvet Road West and Cheriton Place and Lower Sandgate Road are also not going to be pay and display. And until we hear that, we will continue a little bit of pressure.
I'm Kay McLaughlin, and I'm part of the independent group of residents called Keep Shepway Streets Free. It's a small victory, I think. There is still lots of other streets that they want to make money out of. A lot of people will have to pay for permits, which doesn't guarantee them a space. So a small battle's been won, but we haven't won the war.
Martin Jackson, Director of Landau in Folkestone. We should continue hitting them over the head with a stick, as they've told me I've been doing to them. Some of these small retailers are now extremely vulnerable. These are the really small retailers who need just as much help and support as we've had in Sandgate Road. So Cheriton Place, I think, is still a massive issue. I think Bouvet Road West is still a massive issue. And we should continue to press extremely strongly until we get the same kind of result in these 2 areas.
This is Graham Cook for BBC Radio Kent in Folkestone.
Yes, Graham Cook on the change of mind over plans to bring in pay and display in the shopping streets of the Shepway area to an extent at 7:20. The leader of Shepway Council, Councillor Robert Bliss, will be on the programme. We'll also speak to trader Martin Jackson, who you heard in that report from Graham. They'll both join us live to talk about that issue.